All right, the first movie on our list today is Hidalgo. Take it away, Jude. What is this movie all about?
All right, sir. 2004 Hidalgo, rated PG-13 with a runtime of 2 hours, 16 minutes. This had a budget of $100 million. What do you think this brought into the box office?
$100 million for this movie?
Yes, sir.
Wow. I want to say it made money, but not enough to warrant like some kind of a franchise. It's probably, I'm going to say 200 million.
B?
I don't remember a lot of buzz about this movie.
I remember the marketing.
I do as well, but
yeah.
I'm going to say this movie probably didn't do great. So I'm going to say, what was the budget you said?
100 million.
100.
Between like probably 60 and 70 million.
That's it? Okay. You think it flopped?
I'm probably completely wrong.
$108 million. So it made its money back and a little something to buy yourself something pretty.
There you go.
Okay. Take it away. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my job. Go ahead, dude. Tell us what this movie is all about.
Go ahead, dude.
It's the full cause hitting me real hard.
It's 1890, and the white man is the good guy, and the Indians are the bad guys. Frank Hopkins is both good guy and bad guy, but his horse is the best man. When the legend of his horse Hidalgo offends the Arabian sheik, he challenges Frank's Mustang to join the cross-country desert race against 100 Arabian horses for glory, honor, and 100 G's. Frank accepts and enters his horse, the first non-thoroughbred horse in history to compete, but there's more at stake than the purse. Nobody wants a half Lakota on a wild Mustang to best the greatest Arabian horses ever bred for this race. Everyone except for the sheik and his daughter try to stop Frank and Hidalgo from completing the race, but when the sheik's daughter is found after hours in Frank's hut, the sheik has no choice but to cut his dick off. Good thing the sheik is a sucker for Wild West stories. Frank's tales delay his castration just long enough for the sheik's daughter to get kidnapped. And the sheik decides that if Frank can bring his daughter back safely, he'll let him keep his dick. Frank and Hidalgo save the day, proving they're worthy of their manhood and of competing. They race off into the Arabian sunset toward either the finish line or death by desert.
So I didn't remember a lot about this movie. I saw it a long time ago, probably when it first came out, and it just never really like struck me as a movie I'd need to go watch again.
Mm-hmm.
So I was happy that we finally picked it because we couldn't pick Vanishing Point, which was our other pick, but we
couldn't find it
anywhere. Yeah. And so we were like, all right, well, what else can we watch? We chose Hidalgo. I'm actually kind of glad we did because this movie was way better than I thought it was going to be.
Favorite movie of the week.
Really?
Yeah.
I
had a
this was a first watch for me.
I had a ton of fun with this movie. It was like, it had some real serious tones to it, especially with the slaughter at Wounded Knee and all that kind of like, it's very, very serious movie, but then also has like this weird Indiana Jones vibe. And I was like, what the hell is going on? It's like an adventure movie. I'm like, I completely forgot. It has a little bit of like Brendan Fraser's The Mummy with like Indiana Jones and some cool, like, you know, a nice moral about the horse.
There's a kidnapping in the middle. We got to go Scooby-Doo that shit.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun.
We got crazy, mean Arabian dudes on horses. And their awesome outfits.
And the eagles.
And
the
quicksand.
The castration scene, which you mentioned in your synopsis, is freaking hilarious. That dude was so amped to cut that dude's balls off.
He was like, you've given me no choice.
He's like, the dude with the tools over here, like, oh, I can't wait to get onto those balls.
And Viggo is like, we didn't do nothing. We were just talking, man.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is going to sound kind of stupid, but Viggo was like, probably the least favorite character of the movie.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. Who was your favorite? I don't know. I loved the sheik. What the fuck's his name?
The old man?
The old dude.
Omar Sharif.
Omar Sharif.
No shit.
Yeah. I mean, he's the same character he played in 13 Warriors or whatever.
Literally the same character in every movie.
Yeah. It's just, he's so good to me. I mean, don't get me wrong. Viggo was great. He was good in this movie. This is my favorite movie of the week. I had a great time.
Nice.
It's like it starts out as a Western, turns it into an Arabian adventure. And then we get some history involved and J. Jonah Jameson was like Wild Bill Hickok and stuff.
Right, yeah.
It was just, there was a lot of cool shit in this movie. It was super fun. And I liked the horse. The horse was great. Hidalgo was awesome.
He had some personality.
He had some personality.
Hidalgo was the hero of the story.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
That horse wanted to win, man.
Yep.
And just when some bad stuff happens to the horse, you're like, oh shit, I thought it's like, oh no, they're not ending this movie this way. I was pissed when they fell in the pit and the trap. And
was this the first watch for you too?
Yeah.
Okay, me too.
If it wasn't, I don't remember watching it before.
Okay. Right on.
But yeah, so I mean, this was our alternate pick, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we found it because it's my favorite one.
Right on.
Aw.
For sure. Yeah. It was just a fun adventure flick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good popcorn movie.
Right on.
So
It has like those old school vibes of like just the swashbuckling adventure
Yeah.
stuff. Like it doesn't take itself overly serious. It has a lot of fun. Jude, what did you think? What's your general thoughts on this movie?
I agree. It also gave me the that movie with Tom Cruise, The Last Samurai. It kind of gave me that energy at the beginning where he's all fucked up and he's got to overcome it and become like a hero, which, I mean, he's not really a hero in this. Hidalgo is. But yeah, I thought it was a fun movie. We picked it last minute because we couldn't find the other movie that we were going to watch. So then after the fact, I was like, oh shit, it's over 2 hours and PG-13. This is going to suck. But it was fun.
Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite of the week, but it was a first watch for me and I could watch this again.
Right on. Kadish, what's your thoughts on this movie?
I found this movie surprisingly enjoyable. So basically, the director of this movie is Joe Johnston, and he was a special effects artist on the original Indiana Jones movies, and he even directed a couple episodes of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles. But you might know him as the director of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, The Rocketeer, Jumanji,
Whoa.
Jurassic Park 3,
What? Well, that
and
movie
Captain
sucked.
America: The First Avenger.
That's a damn good
It's a
pedigree.
good
pedigree.
Good pedigree.
And,
yeah.
and the guy who wrote this movie, John Fusco, he was the writer of Young Guns. And
Oh,
okay.
I love that movie. We should do a Young Guns week.
I would love to do a Western week. I think we have a Western week coming up, right?
Yes, Kurt Russell westerns.
Okay,
Is on the agenda.
Ooh, Bone
But
Tomahawk.
this is supposedly based on a true story, but a lot of people have kind of come forward and said like, not so much.
Yeah.
You know, like there was
This
a lot
is-
of embellishment here.
This is a Hollywood based on a true story. This is not factual like history.
But it was funny because so this started off as a Disney movie, and then after it's run in the theaters, they switched it over to Touchstone, which was kind of like Disney's more adult like movie studio.
Disney was like, I don't really like all that dick chopping talk.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie starts off dark. It starts
Oh,
off
yeah.
with the slaughter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Man,
Wounded
this-
Knee was real dark.
Yeah, but at the time they were releasing it around the time I think of Return of the King or one of the Lord of the Rings movies, and they were really trying to cash in on Viggo Mortensen's like celebrity at that time. And I like you said, it made $108 million off of a $100 million budget. So technically that's a flop because you need to make at least double your budget in order to break even in Hollywood by Hollywood accounting standards.
Has Vito Morgenstern ever been like a? Has he ever been like able to carry a movie like we're thinking he is this week? I mean, I don't.
We'll find out at the end of this episode.
I mean-
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, outside of the Lord of the Rings, you know, they tried to cash in on his popularity as you know as Legolas as
Aragorn
Aragorn, but I don't really feel like he ever like
peaked.
peaked.
He's
He
never
never-
been
he-
a main
Yeah.
headliner guy.
right.
Well,
There's
there
still
was a
time.
time after Lord of the Rings where he was booking a lot of leading roles. And I think he, you know, basically just cashed out and he just kind of like does passion projects now. Like his latest one was Green Book, which he won like an Oscar for. So
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor.
No, he's a good actor.
And I think
Yeah,
one
I
of the
love him in everything, but
Yeah.
I don't know that I like the movies
But-
that he's in.
speaking about acting, so the opening scene of this movie, he's put against a C. Thomas Howell. And C. Thomas Howell, you know, I like the guy, but he's not a good actor. and when he starts doing like his whole acting thing against Viggo, it's just like night
Yeah,
and day.
that made me think that was the opening of
Yeah,
this movie, and
yeah.
that made me think that this movie was going to be completely different than it ended up being.
But that's like a Joe Johnston thing where like he kind of balances like the Spielberg kitschiness with like, you know, like serious stuff. But in terms of like the Indiana Jonesness of this, like there's a scene in here where
it's straight out of
Viggo
Indiana
has
Jones.
like Viggo has like a knife and like he's facing off with like a bandit who has like a sword, and he just throws the knife at the guy and kills him. And it's one of those things where that was basically the scene in Raiders where he pulls out the gun and just shoots the
He
guy
brought
with
a
the big sword.
gun to a knife fight.
Exactly. So Joe Johnston has like a big long history with being involved with Indiana Jones and stuff like that. And so he really wanted to kind of bring that to this movie. And I think it shows like there are like it is a good adventure movie, and it's something that's pretty family friendly. Like even the castration scene was kind of played for
It's all
laughs.
good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like they were threatening it, but at the same time, it wasn't like graphic or anything like
I
that.
mean, it wasn't even as intimidating as the Ice Pirates castration scene.
No.
Yeah, no, it was tongue in cheek. Like they talk about, oh, this is what's going to happen to you, and you can see the dude in the background with the tools and
there's
stuff.
There's nothing in this movie that's as intense as Mola Ram pulling a guy's heart out of his chest.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Or nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's just
it's actually a very family friendly movie.
Yeah.
And in fact, like towards the end, when it looks like Frank is about to like shoot Hidalgo or Hidalgo,
I was so upset
because like he just collapsed and it looked like he wasn't going to make the rest of the race. Like I was tearing up.
I was audibly
I was like,
against
please don't shoot the horse.
I was like, no, not after all of this.
and like Hidalgo got like a stake through his like front like leg, and like he was still able to like race to the end.
Trucking.
That's freaking Hidalgo, dude. That's an American Mustang.
Freaking Mustang.
Yeah, bro.
But apparently,
tough-ass horses.
Apparently, the actual like historical Frank and Hidalgo, like according to his own like diaries, Frank left the horse in Arabia.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like that whole thing of bringing him back to America and letting him run free, I was like, yeah, that was made up for the movie.
Of course it was, because they have to have a happy ending.
But they said his
Frank
descendants are
Hopkins.
like roaming around in the wild packs right now. So I don't know, whatever.
But most historians have said that the Ocean of Fire race could never exist because like any horse that you take on that race, no matter what, would die.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, people just didn't do that. so like there's a lot of controversy over the historical accuracy of this movie.
In doing research for this movie, the only thing that I can say for sure is that Frank T. Hopkins existed.
Yeah.
that's all. I even went on Audible because
There was a horse named Hidalgo.
Yes, at one point in time there was a painted Mustang named Hidalgo.
Well, a lot of the stuff about Hidalgo was from oral history that the screenwriter John Fusco found when he was interviewing like Indian tribes and stuff like that. Because a lot of this came from like the survivors of the Wounded Knee massacre, and would pass down these tales, and that's how he found out about the Hidalgo and all this other stuff.
Yeah, and Hopkins actually did work for it was either the Ringling Brothers or one of the traveling circuses at that time.
Well, it was
Probably
Wild
Bill
Bill's.
Hickok.
Wild Bills. Yeah, well, he
That was
also
a real thing.
Yeah, he also worked with the Ringling Brothers or somebody. I can't remember. I don't know if that's the right one or not. But I did some research, and so this beginning part where they kind of introduce the characters and he's doing the traveling circus thing, that did happen. That was his character. He was that person. He went out and did all these like adventure Western shows and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of truth to it, but I think they definitely took some liberties with the whole Arabian race for sure. For sure.
But this is a long movie, and in a way, like it's fun. It calls back to, like I think Vader said, the original Mummy with Brendan Fraser, Indiana Jones. It's like one of those like turn of the century adventure tales.
If you want to have an adventure night,
and it doesn't have any like supernatural elements in it,
Nope.
but it's still like very entertaining, and you learn to love the horse.
I like the characters in this movie.
Yeah. I was going to say, to the supernatural thing, like you are right. There's no like heavy-handed supernatural elements like there is in Indiana Jones, but I think there's a bit of mysticism about that horse. A little bit of
Indian mysticism.
Yeah, there's a mysticism with the Indian culture, which I love Native American culture. I think it deserves as much attention as it can possibly get. And this movie was so tragic at the beginning, man. I felt so bad, and I'm like, Jesus, man. Like, history's rough. And if I can recommend anything, I'm listening currently to this Audible book called Son of the Morning Star, and it's all about Wounded Knee and what actually happened. And it's taken from journal entries of soldiers that were there and interviews with Native Americans that were at the at that time were alive. And it's freaking horrific, dude. History is hardcore. Like, some dark shit back then, dude.
But it is kind of funny because like the whole thrust of this movie is this race across the desert, and most of the movie is based on that and the struggles that Frank and Hidalgo go through during the race. But then like the movie stops like right in the middle to have like this kidnapping subplot.
Yeah.
where like he has to go and rescue the princess.
It totally forgets about the race for like a good 40 minutes.
We put it on pause.
Yeah.
Bigger things are at stake.
Because they're like, I think they said like, hey, once you get to this waypoint, you're going to have a day of rest or something like that.
I think that happened already, though.
No, that happened. That the kidnapping started when they got there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So
like, that was the day of rest.
They had to spend their rest day at rescuing the.
Yeah, it
And
was like,
I mean, Honestly, if they had only taken his daughter, that would be one thing. But they took the history of the breeding
Yeah.
process, and that needs to be addressed right now.
Do you want to talk about the rampant sexism in this freaking?
I mean, that was the
how it
culture.
is.
I know,
That's how it is.
100%.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was like my lowly daughter.
Yeah.
And when I heard that, I asked Katie, so I was like, did he say lowly or did he say lovely? And he was like, nope.
Nope.
He said lowly. And I was
Lowly.
like, oh.
And we're like, the main like bad guy prince or whatever came in, and she's like, "How dare you come into my father's tent?" And the dad was like, "Shut up!
Shut up, woman.
Don't speak to a man in my tent like that." I was like, "God damn, dude, times were different."
Yeah, and the sheik had like 3 of his sons die, and so he was
Yeah.
down to like his last daughter, and he's like, if only she had been a boy.
It's funny because he's like, "You're my treasured daughter." Also, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to marry you off as a 5th harem girl.
Yeah, yeah. And I think what did she say? She was
You
like,
get the honor of being his 5th bitch.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I think legally they can't have more than 4 wives or something like that. So that was like
Well, she
another
said in the
inaccuracy.
movie,
Weird
like,
that you know that.
it's Katie's just like, it's my
Well,
dream.
I'm planning on 3 more after you, babe. So.
That's fine. Maybe somebody else will do the dishes.
Have you seen this guy? It's like his dream to be a sheik, right? He's just pillows everywhere, freaking big flowy clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But the only other female character in this movie was Lady Anne Davenport, who was like the
British aristocrat.
yeah, the British aristocrat.
Turns out to be a great big dirty cheat.
Yeah, she was actually the big bad that nobody saw coming.
Yeah. It was a nice little twist.
I kind of saw it coming.
You saw it coming?
It was pretty obvious. But
Yeah, but she was paying like all the people to like mess with Frank in order so that she could win, to get the like breeding horses so that she could breed like ultimate racing endurance equestrian things.
Kind of going back to the Indiana Jones references, that character pays off a group of British soldiers to guard a well water.
No, that was the prince, wasn't it?
Well, the prince was working for the
Yes.
British chick, wasn't she?
No, the prince was racing for the sheik, and the other guy with the beard was Davenport's dude. But
Okay.
but she paid off the sheik's nephew to who wanted to take over the sheik's position in order to raid the camp and steal all the books and stuff like that.
Okay. But yeah, the well water scene, it felt like it was ripped right out of Indiana Jones.
Oh, yeah.
It was even the British officer. I kind of got like, remember the Nazi dude
oh
from
yeah,
Raiders?
from the plane.
Looks just like him.
Yeah, yeah.
I was
He goes
watching.
running after his camel.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, oh man, that's freaking. There's a lot of references to Indiana Jones in this movie,
Sure.
and I loved it. I had a great
Probably
time
why I
with it.
liked it.
Yeah, probably. Is this a 5-star movie for
No.
you?
No.
Do you guys want to do final thoughts, or do you have anything else?
Kind of, because I really want to get to the reason why we're all wearing tattoos.
No.
today.
Okay. All right. Cool. So, final thoughts on Hidalgo. So, this is the favorite of the week for you?
Probably my favorite movie of
What
the
do you-
week.
what do you give it for
I
a
just
star?
I just had a good time with this movie. It was fun.
Star rating?
Star rating 3.5.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
pretty high.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. Is this something that you're gonna watch with like the grandkids or something?
I don't know. It was a good movie. I had a good time.
Okay.
I have really not a lot of bad things to say about it because there wasn't a lot of bad things to say about it. I guess
Oh,
really.
a great cast.
Yeah, good
Do you
cast,
think
good characters. It was fun watching it. The horse was cool.
Viggo
The villains
pulled
were vile. You know, it was fine.
Viggo
The
pulled off a
villains were
southern accent.
vile.
Yes, what every good movie needs.
Yeah.
A vile villain.
I need a
Had
coffee
swords.
cup that says the villains were vile.
Jude, final thoughts and give it a rating.
I enjoyed it. It was surprisingly good. First watch for me. I don't need to watch it again, but I would watch it again. If somebody was like, oh, I've never seen that, and we're in the presence of children, I'd be like, pop Hidalgo on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good story.
I loved the horse. He's so pretty. He's a hero.
Do you mean that mixed blood stallion or mixed blood Mustang?
Listen, I too am a mixed blood stallion.
I think we all are.
You know, Viggo Mortensen bought that horse after filming was
No
done.
way.
Yeah,
Dude, I'm so glad you have these little moments of trivia. That was so nice.
yeah. He had a real connection with that horse, and he decided to buy it and takes care of it to this
I
day.
love that.
That's awesome.
That's an extra half star for taking care of horses.
I'm glad Viggo Mortensen bought that horse. That's really nice.
Is Viggo?
It's Viggo.
Vincent Middleton. It is. I was going to give it 3 stars, but now that I know that he adopted a horse, and it's the prettiest horse. It's 3.5 stars.
Wow.
Half star for horse adoption. I'm calling it now.
It's a new rating system.
Yeah.
All right, Kadish, final thoughts. Give it a rating.
Yeah, this was a fun movie, very Disney-ish, very family-friendly, which is nice. You know, it's nice to see like a good movie that you could watch with the family. And Viggo was great in it, and the horse was great, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to give it 3 almost castrations out of 5.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you guys. This is a solid 3 movie. I had a ton of fun watching it. I haven't seen it in a long time, and I didn't realize it was as good as it was. I wish it would have done better because I think it deserves more praise. I would definitely suggest people go check it out if they haven't seen it already. I love the horse. Viggo is a fantastic actor. I think he pulls off a Southern accent fairly well. He pulls off the cowboy vibe.
Yeah, he did.
So that's not the easiest thing to do, especially, I don't know what I was going to say. But anyway, a ton of fun, 3-star movie. Go check it out.